Hello and welcome to this midday market mood check with me Nandita, Khemka and my colleague Yatin, Mota. Well, Yatin, it's a new fiscal year and what was turning out to be a good start because the Nifty started above that 17,400 mark has now become more subdued because the Nifty has fallen flat but it's trading with a negative bias and it's around that 17,350 mark right now. If you look at the broader end of the markets, mid and small cap indices are outperforming the benchmarks, and among the top sectoral movers you have the auto pack. Of course, we've had a great fiscal year for most of these automakers, and because of that the auto pack is extremely active in today's session. You have the likes of Bajaj Auto, you have the likes of Maruti, Hero MotoCorp. All of these companies are among the top Nifty gainers in today's session. What's not doing well is the Nifty metal pack, the IT basket, as well as the FMCG pack. But let's also talk about the oil and gas basket. BPCL is the top Nifty loser because of the surprise output cut announced by the OPEC Plus last evening. In fact, crude prices jumped somewhere around 6% or thereabouts, last night, and we can see the effect on some of these oil and gas companies. On the one hand, you have ONGC, that is the top Nifty gainer, but the likes of BPCL and other OMCs are under pressure. Aside of that, let's also talk about some of the auto pack. As I mentioned, M&M has reported a 20% jump in its overall sales, 30% jump in passenger vehicle sales, and tractor sales have also seen 18% growth. So on the back of that, stock is active. Management has said that FY23 was a very good year for the tractor business as such. Maruti has also reported a very good FY23, even though for monthly sales it was pretty much muted. But Maruti has also said that maintaining that 20% growth rate in FY24 will be tough. So that is something that we'll have to watch out for, that how this entire fiscal turns out to, for some of these automakers. Hero Motor was gaining in trade, of course, on the back of good sales. Enfield, Eicher Motors Enfield was in fact has recorded best sales in FY23 in history, and that's also boding well for the company. Bajaj Auto is rooming ahead in trade on plans of launching an electric three-wheeler later this month. So that's also among the gainers. Yatin, let's talk about some of the mid-cap companies now. Oil and gas, no, not oil and gas, city gas distribution companies are under pressure. Tell us what's happening there.
So obviously we talk about the markets, but before that the city gas distribution companies are in focus. MGL was down 6-7% last time I checked. IGL, MGL and Gujarat Gas, all of these companies are under pressure. Why? Because the government was supposed to adopt or approve the Credit Parik committee recommendations, and that cabinet meeting is still pending. And in the absence of approval for the Credit Parik committee reports, we have the government of India which announced that the gas prices will remain unchanged as of 1st of April period. And this means that the expected reduction in gas prices or the repricing of gas did not happen on the lower side, and the gas prices continue to be what they are since last year or last financial year. So yes, there was expectation that the government will recommend the Credit Parik committee framework for the gas pricing, but that technical approval has not yet been done. In fact, Credit Parik spoke to CNBC TV 18 wherein he clarified that he is hopeful that the cabinet will meet and obviously accept the committee's recommendations. However, if you talk about the market, the advance decline ratio is quite healthy, almost right now 4:1, so 4 advances for every 1 decline. Nifty and Sensex are almost trading flat, but look at the mid cap end of the market, really quite strong. Nifty Bank is also in the green, and if you look at today's gainers, most of them are auto stocks, railway stocks, infra stocks, which are doing well. And specifically to talk about JBM Auto, that stock has hit a fresh 52-week high. We also have Sonata, NCC, Manappuram Finance, Zydus Life. All of these stocks are moving trade and hitting fresh 52-week high. In fact, today Morgan Stanley had a buy report on Zydus because the approvals which have come in, which will support the earnings, wherein Morgan Stanley believes that this pharma company should do well. Zydus Life right now almost up by 0.2%, but yes, the stock is at a new 52-week high.
Right, Yatin, talking about some of the other movers, you had SpiceJet. That stock was up because it has hived off its cargo as well as logistics business into a separate entity. So that stock was up somewhere around 2.5% or thereabouts. Let's also talk about some Q4 business updates coming in from some of these banks like CSB and Karnataka Bank. Karnataka Bank's loan book has shrunk on a quarter-on-quarter basis. That was weighing in on the stock, and that stock was down somewhere around 4 to 4.5%. CSB, on the other hand, has a deposit growth of 21%, which is extremely healthy. And on the back of that, that stock was gaining in trade. We've already spoken about the gas companies. Aside of that, PNB Housing was also up 3% because Morgan Stanley has come out with a overweight rating on the stock, target price of 700 or thereabouts, which is a 30% upside from current levels. And there's order book boost for companies like RVNL and Tejas.
In fact, RVNL every second, third day they get a new order.
Yeah, so these stocks have been in focus for quite some time now. And JP Morgan has come out on with a report on KPIT Tech. It sees a 44% downside on the stock, and which is why the stock is down somewhere around 4 to 5% in today's session. Aside of that, Yatin, a little bit of action in the primary markets as well. You've had a new listing. It was pretty disappointing because it listed at a 14% discount to its issue price. I'm talking about Uday Shiv Kumar Infra. And Avalon Tech is another company which has kicked off its IPO, but according to my sources, the response is pretty subdued on the first day. Let's see how it pans out in the next few days. Aside of that, cues wise, there's obviously the RBI MPC meeting, and the outcome will be announced on, of course, Thursday. So we will be getting you live coverage of the governor's speech as well as a post RBI policy analysis with a battery of guests. So don't forget to tune in for that. And aside of that, we'll have to see how the second half pans out in today's session. Of course, Yatin will be back with closing trade at 3:30 p.m. So do tune in for that as well. But with that, I think we are at the end of this midday market mood check. For more news and updates, stay tuned to Money Control.